Hello everybody. Welcome back to another Making Art Every Day Procreate Sketch Sesh. Today we are going to be telling you all about what's going on for April. If you are new around here, Making Art Every Day is a series of daily drawing prompts, tutorials, and motivation to help you nurture your creative practice. Every month we pick a theme, and then we have weekly themes within that theme and a lot of fun tutorials and things to just support you in your creative practice for the month. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm having a little bit of a network issue, so hopefully we don't have any internet problems today, but just let me know if you experience any problems, and we'll fix it, I guess. But thank you so much. We have a lot of people here today. Hello, Sherry from Washington, Anne from Texas, from the UK, Jenica from Las Vegas. Hello. Thank you guys so much for joining in today. I am very excited to tell you about our Making Art Everyday theme for April, which, if you haven't already seen it here, our theme is going to be time travel. And this is going to be a really fun theme. It's basically, we're going to be exploring past, present, and future through history, through different art styles, through your own personal timeline, and more. So I'm just going to jump right in and show you our April drawing journal, which is right here. You can download this drawing journal, and I highly recommend doing so. There's a link down in the description on YouTube, and you can also find it at makingarteveryday.com. So be sure to download that so you can get all the good stuff you're about to see. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into the first page here, or the second page, and this one just tells us a little bit about the month, and you can of course read this on your own, but yeah, this month is a kind of a twist on history and things you might find in history, and also putting in some personal stuff too from your own life. So there's kind of a real mix of different kinds of prompts that you're going to be in this one, are going to be experiencing for this one. And this page here just kind of gives you a few tips, and I'll just real quickly kind of go over that. So no need to be a history expert is the first one here. I try to make these prompts really simple and straightforward, and you don't have to do a ton of research to figure out like how to draw these things. And you'll see that when I show you the prompts. Oops. Cancel. Okay. Experiment with different art styles. I think that would be a really fun way to approach your art making this month, by experimenting with different art styles, because as you know, throughout history, there has been countless styles of art. And I think it would be fun to, maybe for each prompt or each week within the month, you can experiment with a different art style and kind of explore that. And then down here, let the past inspire your present practice. This is something that we're actually focusing on in my membership in Art Makers Club. We always do we do the drawing prompts, of course, but we always have a monthly focus that we like to focus on to kind of nurture our creative practice even further. And in the club, we're looking to our past to help us move forward. So looking at some of our past artwork, reflecting on how much we've grown, all of that aspect of like history within your own art journey, I think is really good to reflect on this month. So definitely do that as well. Alrighty, let's go to the next page, because this one tells us about what's going to be happening this month. I have created a really fun tutorial in Art Makers Club for our members this month called Inspired by the Masters, Brush Play with Monet. I got this idea to do a tutorial kind of based on some really famous art from history. So we're getting a piece from Monet, one of his water lily paintings from the Water Lily series, and using that to just inspire a creative exploration. So our goal isn't like to recreate it exactly. We're just kind of like exploring brushes and playing and seeing how we can layer colors and what interesting effects and things that we can come up with by using that as inspiration. And the goal for this whole tutorial is to look to the past, use artwork from the past to give gifts to your future self, because the goal of this is to arm yourself with new tools and new ways to use your brushes that you can use in the future. So that's our like past to present to future that ties in with that. So that tutorial is going to be happening on April 1st at 4 p.m. So that would be next Wednesday, I believe. And of course you can watch the replay anytime afterwards. And if you're not an Art Makers Club member, it's really awesome. I hope you join us. If you like making art every day, you will love Art Makers Club because it kind of takes everything to like the next level. I know we have a lot of Art Makers Club members here. I can see your names in the chat. So thank you guys for being here. All right, next page is gonna be our prompts. Okay, so I'm gonna go through a little week by week for you guys and talk to you about the inspiration for some of the prompts. So this is our prompts page. First up, we are doing some animals because animals are always fun to draw. So I picked some prompts that are kind of like animals that are famous for different periods of history. So we have dinosaur, woolly mammoth, Egyptian cat, Silk Road camel, dodo bird, which was like the prompt I was most excited about, and I actually drew a dodo bird. I'll show you in a second, or actually I'll show you right now. There's my dodo bird. I did this one in digital watercolor using my Watercolor Wonder brushes, and then I did kind of like a mixed media with a brush from my pencil box set, and I really love how it turned out. Very excited to do that one. And then first dog in space. I think that could be a really fun one. And then next, we have art history. So we have cave. So this one is kind of like art mediums that have kind of evolved over time. So starting with the first, cave paintings, which I have some examples down here. Greek vase, wood block print, which I have some of them right here. These are actually blocks carved from wood that you can use to print. I got these in India. And I have some really good wood block print inspired courses in Art Makers Club too. Stained glass is a really fun one. I did a whole course on how to do stained glass in Procreate, and it's a lot of fun. Like if you have never tried that technique, it's really fun, and the results are just really, really nice. So, and then we have oil painting, and this is the one that inspired the Monet tutorial that I just talked to you guys about. Photography, and then of course, going into the modern times, we have digital art, and we have the iPad and Apple Pencil. It's always good to draw your tools that you use on a regular basis nowadays. Okay, so let's go up to our next one. And this week is meant to be just about your own timeline and your own life. So the prompts are a little more open-ended and open to interpretation based on whatever you decide to do for them. First of all, we have you as a baby, which I think could be a really cute one. Like if you have a baby photo, maybe you can like try to recreate it or something like that would be really cute. Or you as a character as a baby, like that would be so cute, and whatever outfit you used to wear. Your childhood home is a really sweet prompt to kind of reflect on your past. If you have a picture or a memory of the home you grew up in, that's a really great one. First pet, also fun. Teen fashion, I'm very excited to see what you guys do with that one, because I thought if we kind of like reflect back to what we wore when we were teenagers, it could be really interesting. And I have a really good tutorial in Art Makers Club about drawing clothes that I link to on the prompts page for that one. And then we have first job, and you could draw anything from the first job. It could be a tool that you work with. So if you're like, maybe you worked flipping burgers, you could draw a burger, or if you were a babysitter or something, like whatever your first job was. Mine was doing gymnastics birthday parties. So I could draw, birthday party stuff or gymnastic stuff or something like that. First big trip, so that's a fun kind of travel themed prompt. So you can draw like landmark destinations, anything you want for that one. And then a proud moment. And so that one is really open to a lot of interpretation. That could come out in any way. If you have like an object that reminds you of something you did, or like, like you graduated college, you could draw a graduation cap or something like that. So that's time of my life. And then we have evolution of travel. So these are just travel related things that kind of evolved over time. So covered wagon for my friends that love the Oregon Trail game or learning about that time. We got the covered wagon, which I did one there. Galleon ship, like think of your classic like pirate ship. That's kind of the thing for there. Steam locomotive, I'm actually excited to draw a train. I can't wait to do that one. Penny farthing, if you don't know what that is, it's one of these like old-timey bikes with the big wheels. So those are really fun to draw too. Hot air balloon, airplane, and then I've got to include time machine. And you can draw any time machine that you've seen in pop culture, you know, the DeLorean, the Doctor Who one, whatever you want, hot tub time machine, or you can make up your own. So there's how you can kind of do those prompts. And then finally, into the future, we have a little short week to kind of round out the month. And we have drawing a futuristic house. Again, it could be something from a movie that you've watched, or it could be something you make up all on your own. Robot assistant, same for that one. And then I really love this last prompt, drawing your future self. So maybe drawing what you hope to be doing in the future, maybe what you're surrounded by, or maybe what you might look like as an older person. So you can kind of interpret that prompt however you want. So I hope you guys are really excited about the prompts. I definitely am, and you're already getting some ideas brewing in there. I always recommend marking this page up in the layers here. I have a layer where you can like highlight your favorites. You can write notes about what art style you want to try, whatever you want. Just like mark it up and kind of make a plan for how you want to approach your art making this month. The next page is just for you to doodle some ideas. So as you're looking through those prompts, you're like, oh my gosh, I have like a little quick sketch I'm going to do. It's nice to do that kind of at the beginning, because then you have sort of a jumping off point when you get to that prompt later in the month. And then finally, we have our progress tracker. Highly recommend using this too. You can write a little goal for the week, like maybe I want to try doing all my pieces in watercolor this week. So I'm going to try watercolor, or I'm going to do, you know, maybe I'm going to make sure I do at least 3 prompts this month, and you can write that as your goal. And then you can actually paste in all of your, here's an example, all of your artwork as you go. And then it's really motivating to see it all together. So you can use the progress tracker for that. All right. And that is the drawing journal. I'm gonna go back to the prompts page, and I'm gonna see if my internet is working on this iPad. We're having some problems. I wanted to bring up the prompts page. Okay, it's still not up, but if you go to makingarteveryday.com, the new prompts are there, and there's links to reference photos. So there'll be like all of these words, and you can click on them, and that you'll go to a image search for dinosaurs or dodo birds or whatever. And so you can use those as references. And then there's also like related tutorials and things like that. So definitely recommend checking that out. All right, everybody, let's get to the drawing portion of this event. So for the sketch sesh, of course, we do what we just did, which is kind of give you an overview of the month and ways to approach it. And now I get to draw. I'm going to pick one of the prompts and just kind of draw it in real time. So the one that I was really excited to do is actually the Greek vase. I actually, for this, maybe I can have it here. Trying to find the like rough draft I did of the artwork for the drawing journal. Oh, where is it? Sometimes I like hide things down. I don't know where it went, but dang. Okay, never mind. But I had sketched out a little Greek vase, and I was gonna put it in this little area down here, but it was too small. So I didn't get to draw my Greek vase, and I was sad. So I'm gonna do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a new canvas. I'm going to use one of my favorite sizes, which is 2800 by 3500 pixels. I'm going to do like a vertical. And let's see. Okay, so one problem I know I'm going to have right now is since I don't have the internet, I don't have any reference photos. So normally I would look up like a picture of what a Greek vase looks like, and I would have that, to reference, but my internet's not working on this iPad. Like I'm on a hotspot streaming right now from my phone. So I'm gonna just kind of go based on my memory. Like when I was doing that little sketch, which I wish I could find it. Bear with me for just a moment, because I don't know where it went, and yeah, okay. Well, getting a little peek of my Procreate library. I had a little sketch of it, but now it's like I can't find it, so. Oh, there it is. Okay, Yay. This is like when I was planning the artwork for the prompts page, and I had this little sketch that I drew and I didn't get to finish it. So I'm gonna use, since I don't have references, I know I like to do everything in real time, but I'm just gonna use that as a jumping off point and I'll redraw it. So I'm just gonna copy and paste it. Copy, and then I'm gonna, oops. Okay, there we go. And paste. Okay, so there's my little Greek vase. I'm gonna redraw it because, you know, I want you guys to get to see me draw. But I had found this cute little horse, you know, I found a Greek vase with a cute little like Pegasus kind of horse, and I was like, that's so cute, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna grab just a sketching pencil from my pencil box set. I'll grab that, and then I'm gonna start drawing this. One cool thing if you're doing a vase like this that's symmetrical is you could use the drawing guide feature to do like a symmetry mode. So that's under the actions menu, canvas, and then you turn on drawing guide right here. And then you go to edit drawing guide and change it to symmetry. There we go. And now anything you draw on one side will be mirrored on the other side. So for like a vase, that might be kind of handy. So I'm gonna just draw, I'm gonna be really sketchy, I think. And this is gonna be like the top bit. And then the bottom kind of coming out like this. So this kind of takes out some of the guesswork. And draw a little foot for my vase here. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then there's like these handles. So I'm going to draw those. Kind of come down and touch the vase like that. And I think I'm gonna move the whole thing up a little bit. Well, I'll do that in a minute. I'm just kind of trying to decide if I like the proportions of this. One cool thing about using the symmetry mode is you can use it with the liquify tool. So let's show you that real quick. If you go to the adjustments menu, liquify, and then go to push and kind of have like a bigger brush size, you can like push things around and you know, adjust your drawing before you kind of move on to your final sketch or your final art. So I'm gonna use that to kind of do some pushing, do some adjusting, get it to like a shape that I like. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I think I'll leave it there. And then I think I'm gonna refine the shape a little bit before I start adding the details. So if I want to refine this, I'm gonna just reduce the opacity of this layer by going to the little N, move it down, and then just make a new layer and kind of draw over the top. Okay. Okay, I am so sorry. Okay, it disconnected, but I'm not sure when. And I saw that it was on the Wi-Fi, so I put it back on the hotspot. But it says this down here. I don't know if that's...
Just hold on. You're on what Wi-Fi are you on? You're on yours.
I'm on my hotspot.
Why is this open? What's going on here?
I don't know. Oh, because I wanted to see what it was doing.
Oh my God! Yes, but that's gonna kill the internet. You have internet. You are
streaming. Am I streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. How come I can't see the chat?
here.
Okay.
You should be back.
Okay, you can hear us. Okay, poor
Yeah.
Jeff. I know, I'm like messaging him because he's like inside with the kids. We're having like childcare issues today.
Childcare and sick children.
And sick children and like it's been a day, friends. It's been a day. And we're trying to make it work here. And then the internet's of course not working. So, you know, it's real life stuff. But I think we're back. Yes, it's working.
Oh,
we're back. Okay. I don't know when it cut off, but I apologize for that. What I've been doing is just tracing over that symmetry mode sketch that I did. And now I'm like trying to add these details based on my, my little sketch here because the internet isn't working there. Okay, so anyways, let's keep going, right? Thank you guys for being here and bearing with me. I'm gonna add another stripe here. And then I wanted to do like a little wave kind of pattern. So I'm gonna draw little waves. Waves was one of our prompts for the March, waves and undulations. So I drew a lot of waves for that, that prompt. I don't know if you guys were doing doodle month with us. That was a really fun month. I really liked it. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. So I got some waves there. What else? Let's see, maybe some little things like that. Let's try that again. Again, this is gonna be very historically accurate because I'm just kind of making it up based on my sketch. Maybe the bottom can be like all black. I think that's what I had in mind for that. And then our little horse thing. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to draw that. So this is gonna be the body, a little bean shape. And then the legs. Horses are like one of the most challenging. I remember when I was a kid and there was a book, I had a book on like how to draw horses and it seemed like so difficult. I'm like, I will never be able to draw a horse. So we'll see how this one comes out. Okay, we've got kind of a chest there. I think I like traced that one off of actual Greek vase, so that helped me out a little bit. Then we're gonna have a tail. And then the legs, they go like this. And then should we have one going back a little bit, or maybe this way? Okay. All right, that's supposed to be like the hoof. Oh man, I don't know, guys. I'm doing my best here. It's supposed to look like he's like hopping or flying, but it kind of looks like he's standing awkwardly. Am I right? Here, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna like get this little bit of my thing, and then I'm going to copy and paste it. Copy and paste. And I think if this will help me just like get the structure and the positioning of the body. No shame in tracing, my friends. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Okay, love the pose of that one. My pose was not that good, so I'm just gonna use this one that I was already using. Okay. What's better? Let me know if the internet's still working for you guys and you can still see. Also, let me know what you're drawing. I would love to know if you're attempting to do a vase, if you're just watching, or, you know, you're doing what I'm doing maybe. Ooh, let's make this, I like how this one looks like it's kind of going up a little bit. That's fun. Okay, and then the leg, let's do one kind of, I know those like in that style of art. Like everything's kind of a little bit more simplified and not super realistic. So I'm not super worried about that. What if we do like little twists for the tail? I'm also thinking of the movie Hercules and the little Pegasus. Do you guys remember that one? His little friend, the Pegasus. And then we're gonna do some wings. I think we need some ears as well. Okay, not bad, not bad. I think that works. I think he needs 2 ears though. These ears look so funky. Okay, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna move that, turn off the other one. Okay, we're moving and a shaking. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some little other details, and I don't have a plan for these, but I'm gonna do kind of little ornamental kind of shapes here. They don't really look like anything. I'm just kind of doing like angled, pointy, like curved points and like round shapes, and just kind of seeing how that works. I'm just trying to make it look like maybe it's like leaves or something. I don't know. I'm making it up because there's not going to be a lot of like detail and rendering on this. Everything's pretty much going to be like black and kind of like an orangey color. But I think this is good. I think I'm going to go for it and just add some color. So I'm going to turn off the other sketch, turn off the symmetry sketch, and then I'm just going to reposition this one. It's built into 2 layers. I'm just going to recenter it like that. And I'll merge those together and then reduce the opacity. And now I'm ready to move on to color. I didn't make a plan for what brushes I was going to use, but I have been really into watercolor this month. I'm actually about to go on my next art retreat, and we're going to Italy, and the whole thing is focused on digital and analog watercolor, and I've just been like diving into all things watercolor lately. So I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna use my Watercolor Wonder brushes, and I'm gonna go to my Files app. And then on my iPad, I have all the Watercolor Wonder canvases, and there's 5 different ones, but I'm just gonna open up one of those, and I'm gonna copy my sketch. So I'm gonna tap that layer and choose copy, and then I'll put it into that canvas. I'll just swipe down and choose paste. There we go, and make it as big as I want it to be. Maybe not too big, something like that. And then I'll reduce the opacity, and now I can start painting on a new layer. I'll put that under my sketch. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my Watercolor Wonder brushes. Oh, thank you, Trina. She says, oh, you're doing great. Thank you. It's been a lot of technical difficulties today. Okay, Watercolor Wonder. Okay, I'm gonna start with the core brushes, and I really love the hard edge round. It's one of my favorite brushes. Okay, so I'm thinking of those images of Greek vases that I remember looking up, and they're kind of this like burnt orangey color for like most of the base. So I'm gonna just do the whole shape of it, I think, in that, and a little smaller with my brush size. And then I'll like overlay all the like details in black. And since when you're doing watercolor, you want to work from dark to light anyways, that'll kind of work. So the thing with the watercolor brushes, as I try to do as much as I can everything in one continuous stroke, because I'll show you in a second. Anytime you lift the brush and then kind of start again, I'll show you down here. You kind of get these little overlaps. So if I were to lift the brush and then start again, anywhere that I overlap, there's going to be a little bit of darkness there. So to kind of avoid that, I try to do as much as I can everything in one continuous stroke for like solid single shapes, but you can blend those out. So I'll show you how I do that too. So I'm just kind of trying to do it in one continuous stroke, color it in. There we go. And then if I wanted to blend out here where it kind of overlaps, it doesn't really bother me here because that's kind of like a normal place where there might be seam or separation. But I have the watercolor tools, and the water blender is great for just goodbye. So that's great. And then I'll go back to my core brushes and draw these handles. Make that a little bit thicker right there. So I haven't lifted up my pencil yet. I'm just kind of doing a continuous stroke. And then I'll do this one. Okay. All right, pretty good, pretty good. I don't super like this situation here. I'm gonna kind of draw that in a little bit better and then maybe blend it out with my blender. Make the brush size a little smaller. And then this one, probably gonna do something similar. Blend that a little bit. Okay, pretty good. Blend these. Okay, so there's kind of like a base layer for the orange color, but I actually like to do like 2 layers of watercolor to make the colors more rich. So if I were to layer on again, and I'm actually going to switch to a different set, I'm going to go to the watercolor glazes, and these brushes, they like get darker and darker every time you do a stroke. So it's kind of more like regular watercolor would look when you can like see through one color to the next. So I'm going to use that to kind of like darken up the vase and like make the colors look a little bit more rich, but I'm not going to go so dark. I'm going to go a little lighter so I can get that nice rich burnt orange color. That's a little too bright. That's pretty good, like this color here. So now I'm just going to go over the same thing, do the same thing again. There we go, there's one. I'll do these. It doesn't have to perfectly overlap the previous stroke exactly. I kind of like it when it's a little imperfect, like right here. I like it like that. Let's see. Shakira had a question, or no, it was Jerry had a question about the drawing journal. Should it be saved and open in the Files app also? So good question. When you download the drawing journal, it will probably go into your Files app because that's what like Safari, if you're downloading from Safari, likes to do. It will go into just your downloads folder of the Files app. So it'll be saved there, but as soon as you try to open it from Files, it should import into Procreate. And once you've done that, you don't need to keep the one in the Files app anymore. You can delete it or whatever. You don't have to save it. Okay, so there's my little vase. And now I'm gonna start doing all the like black details. So let's see. I'm gonna create a new layer. And anytime I make a new layer with watercolor, I always set it to multiply so I can get that kind of like, you know, overlay kind of effect, how brush strokes interact with each other in real watercolor. So I'm going to set that to multiply, and then I'm going to choose like a really dark brown color maybe for the, ooh yeah, look at, I love that. I don't want to go completely black, I don't think. I mean, that looks pretty good too, but I like this one that's like, you can, it still looks a little brownish, so I'll go back to that color. What do you guys think? I like it. A little darker? Good. Okay, and I can't really see my sketch because I made it too light, so I'm gonna bring the opacity up just a little bit, and now I'm gonna start painting in all the details. And I don't like to use like alpha lock or clipping masks when I do watercolor because I want it to look natural, like I don't want it to look like it was done by a computer at all. So I don't like to use those kind of tools when I do these. So I'm just kind of going around doing the outline here. And then I've not lifted my brush up and I'm just continuing to color it in. There we go. So there's that. And trying to decide. I think this is going to be in black. Kind of close that shape off and then color it in. Cool. I had done another stripe here, but maybe I'll just make it like a smaller stripe. I don't know. We'll see. The good thing about doing this on a separate layer than, you know, the vase is like I could go back and erase that if I wanted to. I know I want this to be like black, so I'm going to paint that in. Awesome. And now I think I'm going to do the horse. Okay, so I'm going to switch. Right now I'm using the glaze, which would darken anytime that I overlapped. So I'm going to switch to the core because I know I don't think I'm going to be doing this in one stroke and I don't want such dark. So when I overlap strokes, they darken a little bit, but well, I guess it'll only get so dark because this is black. But anyways, I'm doing the core brushes right now. And I'm going to try as much as I can to get this in one stroke. But I'll blend out anywhere that... Okay. We'll see how this comes out. Color it in. Cool. Not too bad. Let's do this leg here. I'm going to try that again. All right, there's the leg. And then this leg here. There we go. Then we have, see this leg here is a little funky. And I could have like, undo and redid it, but I actually like to use the liquify tool to kind of make minor adjustments when I'm doing digital watercolor. So I'm gonna go to liquify, make the brush a little smaller and just kind of push this into a better position. I wonder if I want the foot to go like that. No, I'm just gonna leave it. I just want to like fix that part right there and maybe move that up and just make it look a little bit more refined. And now I can do this leg here. No, that's too fat. Let's try again. Not bad, you know. For this, since I'm kind of doing these solid shapes, I don't know, I have these little line details in here, but maybe I'm just gonna do it kind of like this. That's cute, I like that. And now I'll do the wing. I'm sort of using the sketch, but I'm kind of making it up as I go. And that's all one continuous stroke. Cool, and these little ears. There we go. I think it came out pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna finish up the last little details, which would be these kind of little decorative elements on the side. So we'll do that. Alrighty, almost done. Oops, what was that one? That one's more pointed. Trying to compare it to the one I did on the other side to kind of make them look symmetrical. I could have used this imagery tool, I suppose, but I think it's good to do it freehand too. And then we'll do this one. And color that in. Awesome. And then I have this I'm gonna make the whole bottom of this actually dark, I think. Color that in. All right. And now I can turn off my sketch layer and decide if there's anything else that I wanted to add. I'm like, kind of want to add a little bit of shading. So I'm going to just create a new layer and just see if I want to do that. Like I said, if you want to experiment, just put something on a new layer and you don't have to worry. If you don't like it, you just delete it. I'm just going to turn the blend mode to multiply. And then I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick a cooler color to do my shadow maybe. That's cool. I like that. And so, I don't know. I'm experimenting here. I don't know if I'm going to like this in the end, but I'm going to try it. I'm just going to like shade one side of this a little bit like that. And then maybe a little bit there. I don't know. I can blend out some of these shadows too to make them a little softer. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to do that whole side darker. I think I like it. What do you guys think? Shadows? Yes? Shadows? No? Let me know what you think. Let's do one. Something like that. And then down here, I feel like it should be dark. I like it. I think I like it. Shadows, yes, Jerry says. And then I can also experiment with blending out. I kind of like the hard shadows, but I'm going to try with the water blender and like soften them out. But I think I'm going to like the hard shadows. So if I wanted to blend these out and make like a softer shadow, it would look something like that. But I think I like the harder shadows actually. I like seeing that edge of the watercolor shape, like of that brush stroke. I think I'm just gonna like use Liquify to kind of refine some of these, and I'll just pull that down like that. Push that in a little bit. Pull that up. See if there's anywhere else, but I don't think so. I think it looks pretty good. So there is my quickie little watercolor Greek vase. And I love it. I think it's like a really simple, you know, it's not like a lot of steps. Like once you kind of figure out your design, just like adding a base color, enriching it by doing another layer, and then like adding a layer and doing all your details. So if this is something that you guys want to try on your own, I would love to see it. If you're sharing your work on Instagram, you could tag me at Lisa Bardot or at Bardot Brush. Both are good, and I would love to see if you guys attempt this one. And of course, any of your other Making Art Every Day drawings for this month. Make sure to use the Making Art Every Day hashtag, because I like to browse that too, to check out your work, and we can all see what each other are doing. And yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what you guys create for the month of April. We're gonna go on a adventure through history and beyond and into the future, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. As always, happy art making and have a great month. Bye-bye.